This is the Intersecondary School Debate Series, Round 2, brought to you with kind compliments of Caribbean Union Bank.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success. Because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome to another informative episode of the 2024 Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. I am your moderator, Priscilla Marsh Sutton. We have a brand new encounter for you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. If you missed our last encounter, the Antigua Girls High School met the Clear Hall Secondary School, and let me inform you that the Antigua Girls High School edged the Clear Hall Secondary School to advance in the competition. As mentioned, a brand new encounter. This evening, the St. Anthony's Secondary School and the All Saints Secondary School will meet to debate the moot. The increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. The increase in 2% in the ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. It is time to meet our teams. Let's start with the proposition All Saints Secondary.
Good evening. I am the first speaker, Hallie Lafont, for All Saints Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Colin Henry, the second speaker of the All Saints Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Brianna James, and I'm the first standby speaker.
Okay, round of applause. Give it up for the All Saints Secondary School. And it's now time for us to meet the opposing team, St. Anthony's Secondary. Let's meet them.
Good evening. I'm Lauren Curry, and I'm first speaker for St. Anthony's Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Faith Moses, and I'm the second speaker for St. Anthony's Secondary School.
Good evening. My name is Cameron Jackman, and I am the first reserve for the St. Anthony's Secondary School.
Good evening. I am Amaya Emmanuel Yearwood, and I am the St. Anthony's Secondary School's second reserve.
All right, there you have it. St. Anthony's Secondary, the opposing team this evening, as is customary, a panel of judges will decide on the team that will advance in the competition. Let's meet our judges for this encounter. Jamila Lee, Program Coordinator, UNICEF. Joining us this evening, Kieron Murdoch, News and Current Affairs Producer, Twin Island Media, and Kadian Camacho, Education Officer within the Ministry of Education. Please give a round of applause for our panel of adjudicators. Our timekeeper this evening, as always, is the lovely Miss Aisha Lynch. A round of applause for her as well. We will begin this encounter with the proposition's first speaker, Hallie Lafont, followed by Lauren Corey of the St. Anthony's Secondary. We will then move on to the second speakers from each team. First speakers will be given 5 minutes for their presentations, and second speakers 3 minutes. The bell will ring once at the 1 minute and twice before the allotted time expires. Following the presentations, we will move into the rebuttals. In that segment, 3 minutes will be given to each debater. On that note, we're going to take our first break. When we return, the debate begins. Stay with us.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome back to the 2024 Inter-Secondary School Debate Series, brought to you with the kind compliments of the Caribbean Union Bank. If you're just joining us, the All Saints Secondary School meets the St. Anthony's Secondary, and the moot for this encounter is the increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. I will repeat. The increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. We will now begin this encounter with the first speaker from the proposition. Team All Saints Secondary, please welcome Hallie Lafont.
Madam Moderator, distinguished judges, esteemed opponents, fellow students, listening and viewing audience, good evening. My colleague and I vehemently propose the moot. The increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. According to Cambridge Dictionary, increase refers to making something large in amount or size. Additionally, dictionary.com defines percent as a specific amount in 100. Investopedia.com defines sales tax as a consumption tax imposed by the government on sales of goods and services. In addition, justifiable, according to Collins Dictionary, is an action or idea that is acceptable or correct because there's good reason for it. Collectively, these terms suggest that the consumption tax, which is now greater by 2%, is acceptable and correct. Madam Moderator, Antigua and Barbuda sales tax is acceptable because there's good reason for it. In an article posted on Antigua Newsroom 2024 titled, ABST increases from 15% to 17% from today, January 1st, 2024, IRD. Please note, an amendment was done to Antigua and Barbuda Sales Tax Act through Revenue Miscellaneous Provisions Act 13 of 2023, indicating that from January 1st, 2024, the standard ABST rate will increase from 15% to 17%. This increase is applicable to all taxable goods and services covered by the Antigua and Barbuda Sales Tax Act 2006. The increase in sales tax has many benefits for Antigua and Barbuda. Madam Moderator, worthy opponents, and esteemed judges, I will present the economic aspect why it is reasonable or correct because there's good reason for it. And my colleague will present the social aspect of the topic. The increase is only 2%. Since 2007, when the ABST was introduced, it has remained at 15%. There were other alternatives to get revenue. One example, the personal income tax, which my worthy opponent was removed. After 17 years, 17% ABST must be acceptable because there's good reason for it. According to Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown, in the 2024 budget, the average recurrent revenue to GDP for the ECCU region amounted to 29.4% in 2022, while for Antigua and Barbuda, the ratio is 18%. The government has been subsidizing and giving concessions to residents, gas, food, etc. Are we not willing to develop our beloved country? Actually, there's zero-rated non-taxable goods in the basket: sugar, flour, fruits, vegetables, baby items, water, and medicine, just to name a few. Residents can purchase goods and not be affected by the justifiable 2% increased sales tax. Once basic items are not taxed, there should be no major financial effects on the consumers. If you believe some businesses are not following the law, it is your right to report them to Consumers Affairs. The fact that the government deemed it necessary to have zero-rated item underscores the point that this tax is fair and manageable. Madam Moderator, according to the Commissioner of Inland Revenue, Mr. Ralph Warner, in an article from Antigua Newsroom 2024, all supply of holiday accommodation, taxable goods, services, and class of entertainments must be charged at the rate of 17%. Let us consider this, my learned opponents. There has been no income tax imposed on residents since it was removed. Moreover, there must be some revenue to meet the needs of the resources of this people. Holiday accommodations, taxable goods, services, and class of entertainment, regarded as areas required to pay the 17% tax, should be welcomed with open arms. According to Dr. George Daniel, a retired lecturer, When tourist arrival increase, tourism also increases spending, which should provide additional income. My worthy opponents, you can agree that should is an interesting choice of word. Do you know how many tourists do not venture off the ship because they cannot afford to do so? Tourist arrivals do not equal increased revenue. Not to mention, tourism is seasonal. Hence the justification for the 2% tax increase. Several areas will benefit from 2% increase of ABST, such as infrastructure, education, and health, just to name a few. After all, it is only 2% increase, and this is indeed justifiable. Thank you.
Thank you, Hallie. That was Hallie Lafont, All Saints Secondary School. Give him a big round of applause. She completed her presentation in the time of 4 minutes and 31 seconds. We now move on to the opposing team, St. Anthony's Secondary. Welcome, Lauren Curry.
Madam Moderator, honorable judges, worthy opponents, listening and viewing audience, good evening. We are here to oppose the moot. The increase of 2% in ABST by the government is justifiable. Based on this, we must define key terms before getting into the supporting evidence. According to the Inland Revenue Department, ABST, or the Antigua and Barbudan Sales Tax, is a value-added tax imposed on the sale price of a good or service. Introduced in January 2007, the tax was set to a standard rate of 15%. However, as of January 2024, that rate has increased by 2%. Justifiable. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, is an adjective defined as supported or justified by good evidence or in convincing reason. Based on this definition, we can understand the moot as the increase in ABST by the Antigua and Barbudan government is warranted and supported by good evidence. While we understand the need for taxation within our country, we cannot stand behind this moot, as we believe there is no reasonable grounds for this increase of taxes to all Antiguans and Barbudans. My colleague and I will lay out an argument that supports our stance on this topic. I will speak on the sections of our society mostly affected by this increase, the effects this increase has on our low to middle income households, and the implications this increase could have on the economy. Later, my associate will continue the argument by outlining different ways the government could generate revenue to cover existing expenses, ways the government could adjust their spending to avoid a financial deficit without increasing the tax, and the fact that many foreign investors are promised incentive packages that can harm the economy. Madam Moderator, low to middle income households have been the hardest hit by this increase in ABST. This evidenced by the fact that many of these households have had to adjust their monthly budget in order to make ends meet. In a survey conducted to include over 125 individuals working within both the private and public sectors, we found that 77% of respondents described their household as middle income, and 85.7% believe that low-income households are the hardest hit by this increase. With this increase in tax and the current rate of inflation, various items that individuals are used to buying has drastically increased in price. Judges, as per the Inland Revenue, zero rated means that the items or service is taxed, but the rate assigned is 0%. If the government needs more money, they can change these rates at any time, affecting the entire population. While there are a lot of items on the zero-rated list, such as eggs, flour, and water, necessary items like detergents, baby products, and toilet paper have been removed from this list. We are also encouraged to have life and medical insurance, and now we will have to pay more for these necessary services. Imagine having to choose between getting health or life insurance for you or your family or paying a mechanic to fix your car. Both necessary and both currently out of reach for low to middle income households. These households are now forced to choose which commodity is most needed to purchase those first while leaving other items for a later time. I don't know about you, but this does not sound like a position I would want to be put in. On a broader scope, this increase can have a negative impact on the economy. It could discourage work, reduce the amount of investment and innovation, and prevent savings. If people notice that most of their income is directed towards taxes, what's the point of work? If persons are unable to see a sizable return on their investment and innovative ideas, or to turn a profit due to increased taxes, what's the point of investing? As a rule of thumb, people are encouraged to save at least 20% of their monthly salary. For low to middle income households, that can be as much as $400 to $800. And savings is usually the budget category that is cut first when expenses have increased. If people are unable to save for a rainy day, what's the point of even living? With these points I have put forth, I hope my opponents see that this increase in ABST is not justified. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Another round of applause. Team St. Anthony Secondary, Lauren Curry. She completed her presentation in a time of 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We've now heard from both our first speakers from each team. We'll now move on to our second speakers. And we'll start with the proposition, All Saints Secondary. Please welcome Callan Henry.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Moderator, esteemed judge, and worthy opponents, another justification for the 2% increase of ABST tax is the fact that civil servants received a salary increase by 14% in January 2024. This increase is timely, as it further supports the non-taxable goods or zero-rated items in the basket. Moreover, this solidifies the salaries of civil servants would not be affected by the reasonable 2% increase of ABST. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Gaston Brown, in an article, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister addresses concern over proposed 2% sale tax increase. Amid opposition from United Progressive Party asserts that the taxes hike is essential to fulfill government commitments, including a 14% salary increase for civil servants and meeting various financial obligations. Why should we oppose paying tax? The Bible said, give unto Caesar the things that are of Caesar, and give unto God the things that are of God. My lovely opponents, even the United Progressive Party, Antigua's main opposition, did not oppose the income tax, but they were disappointed that there was no consultation. According to an article titled, and I quote, UPP says 2% increase on ABST is autocratic and requires a unified resistance in the Observer News Co., end quote. In addition, recent consensus from a small town hall meeting at the Glanville Community Center organized by UPP reiterated an increase in ABST should not be the first option to increase government revenue, but there was no indication that it should not be the only option at all. The United Progressive Party expresses its disgust with the Gaston Brown administration for its autocratic imposition of a 2% increase on Antigua and Barbuda sales tax, and its failure to consult with its people. Despite an assurance given by government spokesman Lionel Max Hurst a week ago, this does not sound like opposing the 2% tax increase, but an opposition of the Prime Minister's decision to increase it without consulting with them. Moreover, economically and socially, there is no reason to resist the 2% ABST tax increase. Madam Moderator, we remain resolute that the increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. We restate it is only 2%. There is zero non-taxable goods. Tourism does not always bring in revenue. There is 14% salary increase, so 2% is acceptable and correct because it is indeed needed. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Callan Henry. Team All Saints Secondary, come on, encouragement, round of applause. Thank you so much. He completed his presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Remember, second speakers are allowed 3 minutes for their presentations. We now move on to the opposing team, Team St. Anthony's Secondary. Welcome, Faith Moses.
All protocols observed. Good evening. Our opponents have been trying to convince us that this increase in ABSD is justified. Not only is this tax increase not justified, it is not necessary. As stated earlier, I'm here to continue the argument started by my colleague. I will address the ways the government can generate revenue besides ABSD, how the government can avoid a financial deficit when comparing revenue to expenditure, and the fact that many foreign investors are promised incentive packages that can hurt the economy. Judges, the governments of Antigua and Barbuda can generate income in several ways. Instead of increasing sales tax, our government could implement an income-based tax. According to Investopedia.com, income tax is a type of tax that governments impose on income generated by businesses and individuals within their jurisdiction. Judges, did you know that Antigua and Barbuda is one of the 2 countries in the Caribbean that does not charge income tax? Income tax makes it so that persons who generate the most wealth contribute or give back more to their society because they can afford it. We propose that persons with salaries over $5,000 per month pay a 5% income tax. Madam Moderator, our government can reduce the financial deficit to prevent further taxing. According to the Chief of Staff, Lionel Hurst, more than $1 billion EC dollars is spent annually, including renting office spaces and buildings. This money could be better spent on upgrading public resources and can buy me a significant amount of KFC. If the government were to own more of their own properties, less money would be wasted on rent, decreasing monthly expenditure. Public use buildings in Antigua and Barbuda are difficult to maintain because they were donated by foreign governments. If you look at equipment like lighting fixtures and elevators, the manuals on these objects are written in a foreign language. When these malfunction, to fix these issues, our government will have to import persons to fix them, including paying for their additional expenses. Money is wasted when local personnel should have been trained in maintenance while buildings were being constructed. Judges, seeking investors to invest in our country is not a new practice. And sadly, this practice has put Antiguans and Barbudans in the horrible position of bearing the load. According to Makeda Michael, prime beachfront properties have been sold at severely reduced rate to attract investors. These reduced rates also come with incentive packages to include up to 25 years tax-free and the permission to repatriate profits. How does this benefit our economy if money is not being collected and profits are being sent overseas? Living in Antigua and Barbuda has become a luxury. My colleague and I both proved that this move was unjustifiable and given ways in which the government can develop other sources of revenue to cover their existing expenses to make life easier for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. That was Faith Moses, Team St. Anthony's Secondary. I think I could hear some more applause coming from. Yes, sounding good. She completed her presentation in a time of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. We will now take our second break. When we return, the rebuttals begin. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, you matter to us. Caribbean Union Bank, our people, our purpose. Every day at Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success. Because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Welcome back to the Caribbean Union Bank Inter-Secondary School Debate Series. The All Saints Secondary School and the St. Anthony's Secondary School are meeting in this encounter, and the moot they are debating: the increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. The increase of 2% in ABST by the Antiguan government is justifiable. The rebuttal segment is about to begin. Each presenter will be given 3 minutes in which to complete their presentation. The bell will ring once at the 1 minute mark and twice when the allotted time has expired. To begin the rebuttal, we will start with the opposing team, St. Anthony's Secondary. Please welcome their representative, Faith Moses.
Good evening. All protocols observed. Our opponents have tried to convince you that the 2% increase in ABSD is justifiable. We'll be rebutting these 3 points: that the increase is just 2%, the zero-rated list, and the tourism aspect. Our opponents have said that the increase is just 2%. It might not be a lot to high-income families, but it is a lot to lower-income families. This could be the difference between eating dinner or saving for breakfast. This leads us back to our point: have an income tax. If we implement a low-income tax, these groceries in the store will not have a sales tax, making them more affordable for people to buy. Secondly, the zero-rated list. They cut down the list after the increase by over half, from the 60s all the way to the 30s, and many necessities were removed. Thirdly, the tourism. The cruise ship tourists, for the cruise ship tourists, there is a duty-free tax that is implemented just for them. As my opponent stated, tourism does not bring in that much. If tourism doesn't bring in that much money, why is it our main industry? Why is it our main industry? It doesn't make any sense. And this is why the 2% increase in ABSD by the Antigua government is absolutely not justifiable. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. Faith Moses, St. Anthony's Secondary, in the rebuttal segment. She completed her presentation in a time of 1 minute and 28 seconds. To end the rebuttals, we'll hear from the proposition team, All Saints Secondary. Please welcome Callan Henry.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, I'm here to state that due to these 2% tax increase, that certain goods are eligible to certain families, and my opponent stated that such things are not accessible to low-income families. However, this 2% tax does not affect low-income families as much, due to the fact that certain goods are free, like not free, but accessible easier to them, right? Certain basic goods are provided, such as food, water, baby items, medicine, right? They are cheaper, they are more justifiable. However, my opponent stated that it discourages people from working, but
That was Callan Henry, team All Saints Secondary. Encourage him. Sometimes these things happen. You know, if you're into the public speaking or you're in the public speaking arena, you know sometimes your brain goes blank and it's very difficult to redeem yourself from there. So we would like to encourage him that, don't give up. There's always another time, a next time. Another round of applause. Let's encourage him. He completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds. That brings us to the end of this encounter in the 2024 Intersecondary School Debate Series. Please show once again your appreciation to both of our teams for their presentations. Come on. On that note, we will take a break to hear from our sponsor, Caribbean Union Bank. When we return, we'll hear from the judges.
Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way. Caribbean Union Bank, we are committed to creating the kinds of products and services that you want and need. We are not just a bank. We are your partner on your journey to financial freedom and success because we are driven by you. Driven by you, we're better every day. Driven by you, together a brighter way.
Thank you for staying with us. The All Saints Secondary School and the St. Anthony's Secondary School met in this encounter. The judges have deliberated and tallied their scores. To bring us the judges' report, please welcome Judge Jamil Lee. Welcome him.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and I recognize all of the debaters this evening. And thank you to my colleagues at the judges panel for your assistance in this evening's adjudication. We found that the quality of presentations that were delivered here today were very good, and we can see the improvements that have been made. You thoroughly researched. There was a wide array use of local sources, and we're very happy to see that. Both of the first speakers clearly identified what they considered to be the key terms, and we liked that you reframed the arguments so that we understood how you were seeing it and where you'd be taking us. You also clearly identified the scope of your arguments on both sides, and everyone followed that. That was excellent, and we're hoping to see more of that in the future. Can we applaud them for their excellent effort? Just a few areas that we can consider, especially for those who might be moving forward. One, be familiar with your presentations, guys. We saw quite a bit of reading. Your prepared speeches, well prepared by the very nature of the word. But you need to learn it so that you can look at your audience and engage them a little bit more. And then in your one-off conversations as you're speaking daily, because the reality is everybody's debating. You have a position, somebody else has an opposing view, and you're looking for facts, hopefully, as you engage with people. Endeavor to expound a bit more on why you are taking the position that you are taking. That is where we're struggling in the rebuttals. And sometimes you may get lost along the way. It's okay. Take a deep breath and try again. But we are seeing improvements even there, and so we want to celebrate that. Can we do so? So with that said, these are the scores. The judges panel this evening concluded that the best speaker from the proposition, the All Saints Secondary School, was the second speaker, Mr. Callan Henry. We also found that the second speaker of the opposition, Ms. Faith Moses, was the better speaker for the opposition. We concluded that the best speaker for this debate was Ms. Faith Moses. The final scores are as follows. The opposition, All Saints Secondary, a total of 62 points. And the St. Anthony's Secondary School, a total of 80 points. We therefore declare St. Anthony's Secondary the winners. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for bringing us the judges' report on behalf of our panel of judges. Congratulations are in order to the St. Anthony's Secondary School. A round of applause for winning this encounter. Congratulations once again to St. Anthony's Secondary for winning this encounter, and I will see you in the semifinals. On that note, we've come to the end of our final encounter in the second round of competition. The next time you see me, we will be in the semifinal round of competition. This is the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. Now, we call on our teams to give their closing remarks, and we will start with the All Saints Secondary. Round of applause.
Once again, good evening, everyone. First, let me give thanks to God. I would like to give thanks to my teachers for assistance and support throughout this series. Thanks to our opponents for a wonderful encounter. We will remember this for a long time. Finally, thank you to all at the Education Broadcasting Unit for making this a reality. Once again, thank you.
Thank you so very much. We now move on to the winning team, St. Anthony's Secondary, for their closing remarks.
Good evening. Firstly, I would like to thank God for allowing us to arrive safely and compete in this competition. We thank our principal for her dedication to the debate team, our trainer, Miss Maynard, for her hard work and dedication towards the team, my teammates for their commitment to our preparation, and lastly but not least, I'd like to thank the judges, Madam Moderator, our sponsors, the Caribbean Union Bank, and the Ministry of Education for providing us with this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you both, of course, both of our teams for doing an excellent job today. We love to see our youth, the young people, come out and, of course, give their best. Remember to join us next time right here for the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. I am your moderator. Until next time, have a great evening. Bye-bye.